This is back roads of Illinois server to farmers and ranchers in central Illinois and the Midwest on KSIR in Fort Morgan, Colorado. I am Cesar Delgado. E15 passed on to the Senate and the Farm Bill as well. We were talking about these things. He is an executive director of Illinois Corn Growers Association, Rondy Weneilz, and the Farm Bill and Trading Issues. E15 year-round, this planting season is over. Oh boy, we have a lot of stuff to get to. We were talking with Rondy Desutter on today, and he was the past president of Illinois Corn Growers Association from National Corn Growers Association in West Central Illinois nearby Davenport. This is back roads of Illinois server to farmers and ranchers in Central Illinois and the Midwest on KSIR in Fort Morgan, Colorado. The Farm Bill and Trading Issues. E15 year-round, this planting season is over. Oh boy, we have a lot of stuff to get to. We were talking with Rondy Desutter on today, and he was the past president of Illinois Corn Growers Association from National Corn Growers Association in West Central Illinois nearby Davenport. Hey Randy, how are you? And welcome to the show as well.
Yeah, I'm doing good. We're out here post spraying corn today, and things are looking good.
Randy, let's talk about E15 year-round, which was passed in the House and the Farm Bill as well. What's your thoughts with these legislations?
I actually was out in Washington lobbying for E15 the day that they voted on it and the day before, and a bunch of us corn growers and people from Growth Energy got together, and we visited nearly every congressman in the United States. We didn't actually talk to many congressmen, but we talked to their staff. Of course, they were very interested, no matter whether they were from California, New York, Florida, Texas, wherever, because it was something they were going to vote on that day. So they were taking a lot of notes, listening to us. And of course, it passed by 15 votes, which we're very happy. Every congressman in Illinois, all 17 of them voted for it. I believe all the ones in Iowa did. So the Midwest really helped us out. And it's not only been a 2 day effort, it's been years in the making. So that's part of the reason I think we got all the votes in Illinois. We've been talking to them for years. Now we got to go move on to the Senate. Um, Hopefully we'll get a vote there. That's our goal and get it into law. So we'll see what happens, but you never know in politics how things will turn out, but hopefully we'll get a vote.
What is your thoughts with this legislation to the Senate?
Well, I'm optimistic that we might have a chance. Of course, you need to get the 60 votes because of the filibusters before they can even vote on anything. I think it's helped that California has approved E15. There's a lot of states that follow their lead. It'll come down to we hope, the fact that it'll make gasoline cheaper when it's very high priced, and it's also good for the air and good for consumers and farmers both. I know there'll be some people that maybe some oil people or people from that have small refineries that might have some opposition, but hopefully we'll win out and it'll be into law and the president will sign it.
What is your concern about supply of fertilizer from the Middle East? Yeah, the planting season is over, but many people are concerned about the fertilizer and fuel costs. It's pretty tricky. What is your position on economic impact?
Well, fortunately for most farmers in our area, all the fertilizer was bought and applied and paid for last fall. Of course, the fuel is a different story. I don't think a lot of that was paid for in advance. So it's costing us not only as we're planting season, but harvest season coming up in the fall and transportation costs if we're marketing grain, things like that. I'm really worried about the price of fertilizer for next year's crop because we usually book it in the fall and get it put on, and of course it's went out of sight. So that's the biggest concern in our area. I know some people in different parts of the country didn't have it booked for spring, so it's probably going to hit them twice.
What cost of inputs and fuels in your area in West Central Illinois?
Well, it just fluctuates so much. Um, but it's went up substantially. You could probably get a different price every day, and especially on fuel. And we're not so much worried about the fertilizer at the present time since it's all on. We'll be waiting for it to see what the price is. But I did see something today where fertilizer had actually went down maybe this last week for the first time since March or whenever. So hopefully that's a good sign. We'll see.
I talked with many farmers about the weather in the Midwest and Central Illinois. How is the weather forecast for West Central Illinois nearby Davenport?
Well, I was just looking at the 2 week forecast, and there's very little chance of rain in our area. I mean, each day about the highest I ever saw was 24%. So we can go, a while when the crop is just getting started. But boy, by the time we get to the later part of June and July, we're going to need rain. So we're dry right here where I'm at the present time.
Did you have any problems on April?
Well, in April, we got quite a bit of rain at the first part of the month, but then by the 20th, it straightened out, and we got all our corn planted from the 20th of April to the 26th. Then we started on beans. We had a few minor interruptions there, but I think we were all done planting beans by May 7th. A lot of people around anymore plant beans first, but we still plant our corn first. And so it's bigger than a lot of people's that waited and planted their beans first.
What is your final thoughts on this planting season for you and your fellow farmers?
Well, being on the National Corn Growers Board really gives you a perspective on how things are different all around the country. I mean, we've had some people that had trouble getting it planted because it was too wet. You have some people where it's too dry. So, you need to look more than out your own back door. You need to look all around the country when you try to gauge things. I mean, things are good here. They look really good where in my part of the country. Now it's just, getting the rain and the weather and all that to finish it off the rest of the year. So hopefully things will be good, and hopefully we'll get things like E15 and more demand for our crops so that we have good prices and good yields, which is what every farmer wants, profitability.
This is Rand. Thanks, Randy. I do appreciate your time.
Well, thank you very much. And interestingly enough, we have a grandson named Caesar. So good to talk to another Caesar.
This is Randy Desutter from NCGA on Back Roads of Illinois on today. This is Back Roads of Illinois server to farmers and ranchers in central Illinois and the Midwest on KSIR in Fort Morgan, Colorado. E15 passed on to the Senate and the Farm Bill as well. We were talking about these things. He is an executive director of Illinois Corn Growers Association, Rondy Weneilz. Hi, Rondy. How are you doing with the planting season?
Doing very well, Caesar. Thank you for asking. I farm actually with my oldest daughter, and we have been completed planting here about 3 weeks ago, and stands look good, although it took the soybeans a little while with the cold weather to get up out of the ground. So things are looking good.
Good to hear that, but the weather has been wet.
We are in a part of the state where we've been getting, I'll say, adequate rainfall, and we're not dry yet, but hopefully we'll just keep getting adequate rainfall. I know it points to the south of us have been exceedingly wet last week. Maybe even going to see some replant down there. But I think generally most of the state is moving along quite well now with planting the last few weeks.
Well, good thing about the rain, but it's wet for this. Well, good. E15 passed on to the Senate from last couple weeks ago. What is your thought with the passage of E15 in the House?
Well, I think it took us a long time to get there, and I think there is some apprehension about having an E15 only vote, being just one subject, but it did pass, to your point, Caesar, and I'm happy to say that all 17 members of the Illinois congressional delegation supported E15 passage, and it just gives you an idea of how they see how E15 can help with gasoline prices, and it's good for the Illinois ag economy and thus good for the overall Illinois economy. And to your point, on to the Senate, I feel good about the support that Senator Duckworth and Senator Durbin have provided in the past, and look forward to working with them as we work to get the bill passed in the Senate here in the coming months.
What is your position on the Senate side, who is supported by the oil industry?
So I think in the coming weeks, we'll have a little bit better idea of how E15 is going to be handled in the Senate, as well as the Farm Bill. It's possible that Senator Bozeman puts the two together, and we should know that here in June when he starts committee markup on the Farm Bill. I would also say that in the House, we had a majority of the Illinois oil industry working with us on the bill that passed. There were some medium-sized refiners that were opposed. And so we'll wait to see if the E15 bill is the House version, or I know Senator Bozeman had indicated that maybe he thinks there needs to be a couple tweaks to the bill before they would put it to a vote. So we hopefully will know here as we get through June and go into the month of July, and maybe we get this done before August recess.
Thanks, Ron. I am glad to have you on again.
You're welcome, Caesar. I appreciate having the opportunity to talk a little bit with your listeners, and feel free to reach out to us here in the coming months as we have a little bit better picture of what the Farm Bill looks like, maybe in the Senate.
I will. Thanks again.
Thank you, Caesar.